If I may, a question. How would you feel if the only time you were useful was when you were gone? Demon Slayer's writing is what I feel one of the best in anime. The amusing interactions of the characters, the emotional impact of the fights, and the progression of the story is amazing. But it does have a problem with its character development. Only amongst the Demon Slayers, the demons are actually written fairly well, if not perfectly. Even most of the Hashiras are written to perfection, but the main characters are pushed aside for those characters. But no one has suffered from this more than Zenetsu. The core characteristic of Zenetsu's character is that he, above all, is a coward. He is reluctant to do anything that involves danger, and he is bold about saying that, only ever going to missions because of the gang does. Zenetsu is one of the most unique characters in Demon Slayer, if not the most unique character, as no one else in Demon Slayer is placed in a similar situation as Zenitsu, in a place where he is more useful asleep, not because of he gains a sudden boost in power or strength, but because he acts. But in any other story, this would be damaging to the psyche and confidence. Zenitsu is a character that can only ever master any amount of skill and power when unconscious, and thus only ever feels useful when not present. This can ruin how he views himself and how he views his value as a person. But when he goes into battle, he will fall asleep or rather fall unconscious, and only then will he use his full speed and power. This creates a situational dynamic where he can only face his opponents asleep and not face them head on, which doesn't allow him to face his fear and grow as a person, like the character Stark from Furin, who faces a fear of a dragon head on, and only then does he realize just how powerful he is. He can't be useful as himself, and that's holding him back, and the show is kind of realizing that. After all, what are you when you're better off not you? The direction of Zenitsu's character. In a later episode of Demon Slayer, we see Zenitsu meditating with a much more calmer and more serious demeanor as he talks to Sanjuro, and I think this might signify a shift in Zenitsu's mentality, where they'll try to show Zenitsu putting more effort to overcome his fear of everything. Demon Slayer has shown the potential to be one of the best winning shows in shonen and in anime media in general, so I do believe they can completely reinvent the archetype of the coward through Zenitsu. Just like Stark, they can show Zenitsu overcoming both his issues of cowardice and overcoming the inferiority he might feel about his skill. Because it has been thoroughly shown that Zenitsu does feel a sense of inferiority in comparison to his peers, and I was just explaining the possibility of what that might feel like to any other person in a situation that's similar to his. All I'm saying is that as a character, Zenitsu could either be a beautiful lesson or a wasted